Cobra Kai.
Kidding.
How's it going?
Good.
Yeah,
So
it's great
good
to meet you. I know, finally.
Oh my goodness.
I know we've been talking for a while. It's great to see you in person.
So glad you're here.
Yeah.
And we thank you for all the love and support, and just your energy out there in the audience was like everything we needed.
Oh, thank you. Well, I have to tell you that like Kreese means so much to me. Like I love Martin Kove, I love John Kreese, like, and every time he comes like onto camera, his presence, like everything, nothing matters. It's just him. And you know that was the big thing with your character too. Even the music, it's like bum 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 bum. So I'm curious, like, what did you do like to make your presence felt in this musical as John Kreese?
You know, it's just, so here's the thing. Obviously, Martin Kove set an incredible template for like who this guy is. But I'm going to also add to the equation, I played football in Texas. And John Kreese is a lot of my coaches from back in the day. I had a lot of coaches that were John Kreese. So that is, with Martin Kove and some of my high school and college football coaches, that's where my Kreese came from. Yeah. Just that power. They walk into the room, they walk on the field, they walk into the locker room, and they just take control. You know, they're the one that's in charge.
Yeah.
You know, that's Kreese.
Yeah. And I know you've been like Martin's been sharing the musical. I know you guys have spoke online. I mean, we know he's going to be here tonight. Are you looking forward to meeting him? And
absolutely.
What would you want to like talk to him about or ask him if you meet him?
You know, I don't even know about that. I want a good picture with him. I want to thank him. And I just want to like say hi to him, you know. It's been so cool, and hopefully he'll love the musical, and hopefully he'll love, you know, how I'm bringing Kreese to into a whole new form.
Yeah. And Martin Kove has always said Kreese isn't a villain. He's misunderstood.
Yeah. You know, that's the thing about playing bad, quote unquote, bad guys. Nobody thinks they're bad. Everybody has baggage that they're bringing, and I always say, you know, hurt people, right? And so everybody's got a history. Everybody has stuff that was done to them that they ultimately do to other people. And so when you play these, you know, villain-like characters, you can't play them as bad folks. You just have to play them as human beings who make the types of choices that they make, you know. And I love the backstory that the musical's given Kreese to help explain some of what's going on in his mind and some of his decisions.
Yeah, it definitely explores more with, like, he mentions he's in the war. Like, you didn't really get that too much in the Karate Kid movies.
Yeah. That's not in the movies. Certainly it's in Cobra Kai in the series, but you know, just to give a little bit of an explanation and to understand how somebody ends up making some of the choices that they make.
Yeah. And you and Jake Bentley Young, who plays Johnny, you guys, you guys like have such a great chemistry. Like, what's it like working with him, being like these two evil guys?
So let me tell you what. So when we did it together the first time, he was kind of young and fresh out of school. I love his story. He auditioned for this through something called Backstage. He didn't have an agent. He just self-submitted and got this job. And then between the workshop and here in St. Louis, he's been taking karate classes to get himself together to make sure he can level up. And he has really leveled up. But when we first met, you know, I've been around for a minute. Okay, so I've done some of these things before, right? And so when we first met, after the first couple of days, I pulled him aside. I said, okay, look, I'm going to be fierce in this, and I'm going to need you to be fierce too, because we're going to be fierce together. We're going to be a good team. And he was like, it was very much like, okay, Alan, okay, Sensei. I mean, it was a very real, like, Sensei-student relationship, you know, initially. But now, of course, he's my boy. We have a great time, and we just have an understanding. You know, we have a vocabulary. You know, as an actor, particularly when you're physical with each other, you know, I'm pushing him around and all that kind of stuff. You know, you have to really trust each other to do that. So basically what we did is I came up with a vocabulary, like, here are all the different possible ways that I'm going to hit you or push you or touch you or scare you. I don't know when I'm going to do that. Every night might be a little bit different, but here's the vocabulary of what it is. And so he's like, bring it. So we just have a trust, you know, and you really have to have that when you're when you're working so closely and so intimately together. Yeah.
And obviously you're very different than John Kreese in real life. I'm curious, like, do you do anything in particular to like get yourself in the zone? Like, I hate everyone, I hate all of this.
You know what I actually realize I'm doing is I'm acting stupider off stage because there's such a ferociousness in Kreese that I have to immediately get into. It's almost more about how I get out of it. So that I can get into it because I know Kreese. I know that guy. Like I said, I played football with lots of Kreeses, so I can get into it. But what is interesting is getting out of it. So I'm like particularly stupid and bouncing off the walls and acting like a fool, and that helps me kind of literally, no pun intended, find the balance of playing the part and like being a real person off stage.
I have one more question for you. You've worked on a bunch of musicals, so I'm curious how this one in particular compares to the other ones you've been doing.
You know, actually, not only have I worked on a bunch of musicals, I've worked on a bunch of musicals that are based on movies. For whatever reason, I've done like 11 of them. 3 on Broadway, and I'm involved in several others happening right now. And one of the things I love about this is that, in my opinion, when you're adapting a movie for a musical, you have to give people some of their expectation, right? You can't take the movie and just turn it into something different. You got to meet an expectation, but then you got to also figure out a way to present it with something new and something exciting and different that the movie didn't do. And I really think our choreography, the movement element, is what really lifts it off the page in a way that the film just didn't do. Keone and Mari, I mean, what they do to this, and the specifics of like the Cobra Kai vocabulary and then the Miyagi vocabulary. I just think what they do just lifts the whole thing off the page. And of course, Drew's tunes are just incredible, and then Amon's Japanese eye for it's just such a beautiful. All the cooks are right, and they're cooking together, and the dish is just delicious, you know.
Strike first, strike hard. Okay, the best. That's my favorite. That's awesome.
That's literally like a world of like choreography, music, you know, actor, dancers. It just has come together in like an incredible way, and I love Strike First. Just out the gate, just strike first, strike hard, no mercy.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Alan, it was so great meeting you.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you so much.
Thanks, Drew.